Shalom everyone. Those of you who are upright in your heart, I hope that you're doing well. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to anyone who is having a special day, and love and light to those who have been down and out and those who are trying to find their way. I ask that the Holy One would come and wrap his arms around you, and that you would call upon him, that he could help, because he will. I'm going to read out of Isaiah 29 this morning, just because I feel led to. So if you are new, I'm not churchy or religious, but I do have a Hebraic descent, and I love Jehovah Elohim, maker of heaven and earth, and he is my everything. He is my king. He is my Yeshua, my salvation, and I love to boast about him because he deserves to be praised, and people take him for granted, and they don't realize that he is, or people that don't give a rip don't realize that he is slow to anger, and yet he's an Elohim of war, that when he gets up and they're going to meet the Great One and understand who he is and be ashamed for how they treat people in the earth. Anyway, I get real grieved on the inside of my spirit, knowing that people see hurting people and do things in the earth, and they just sit back, they do nothing about it. And yet it's prophecy. The mystery of Jehovah to me is, well, it's a mystery, obviously, but I fear him, people. I just fear him. And I'm just beside myself at people who don't. Anyway, he took me to Isaiah 29 this morning, and then I asked him, do you want me to read it? And I took the Hebraic deck that I have, and I asked him to confirm if he wanted me to read this chapter, and the cuff came out, which is the 11th High Arcana, which is a justice card, and 11 is also a 29, and that's a chapter that I was looking at, so I'm just going to read it. I'm not sure if I'm uploading this or not, but I am talking to some people offline, and I know that I am. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Add ye year to year, let the feasts come round. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be unto me as Ariel. And I will camp against thee round about, and will lay siege against thee with hostile troops, and I will raise forts against thee, and thou shalt be brought down, and shalt speak out of the ground, and thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be as of one that has a familiar spirit out of the ground, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust, and the multitude of the tyrants shall be as chaff that passeth away, even, yea, it shall be at an instant suddenly. Thou shalt be visited of Jehovah of hosts, with thunder, and with earthquake, and with great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her strongholds, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. It shall even be as when a hungry man dreams, and behold, he eateth, but he awaketh, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreams, and behold, he drinks, but he awakeneth, and behold, he is faint, and his soul hath appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion. Stay still and wonder, and turn your eyes away and be blinded. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For Jehovah has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep and has closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, have he covered, so that all visions is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that cannot read, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he says, I'm not learned. Wherefore Jehovah said, For as much as this people draw nigh to me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is not by the precept of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Jehovah, and their works are in the dark, that they say, Who seeth us, and who knows us? Surely you are turning things upside down. Shall the potter be esteemed as the clay? Or shall the work say of him that made it, He made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, He had no understanding? Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest? And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in Jehovah, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproacheth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore thus saith Jehovah, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. But when he sees his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the Elohim of Yisrael. They also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. I just felt led to read this morning, so I did. I'll be back for a reading. Take this in, run it back, read it for yourself. Who are you people? Who are you seeking? What are you doing in the gates? Do you know who the Holy One is? Because people are fixing to find out.